Happy Sunday, and we're finally here, Keith. We've
Yeah.
we've just trucked through this cold weather that we've been having all weekend, and
hmm
we've had a couple decent prices throughout the weekend as well. We
Yeah.
had Icy Reply at $25.40 winner. You had that in your exacta.
Yeah, we started the day okay with that. A little
Yeah.
exacta box to get you going. And, a couple shorter prices. A couple of horses got bet down more than I thought. John the Bear especially, I thought that was a tough race.
Right.
And, only 460 for him, but good effort. Really good race. Princess Coca-Chan, sharp in return. That recency, maybe a little extra stamina there for response time in that race. Boy, that was good. Last eighth of a mile. A little drift, but
She
kept
was your
on
best bet, wasn't
relentlessly.
she?
No, but we had her, but
Yeah.
unfortunately didn't pay a whole lot, and ended it. I think Hammy ended the day. It was the Smith family, right? Jason
was.
Smith and Hammy Smith. So good for them for that late daily double. But on we move to the Sunday card.
Let's go ahead and move and take a look at that track. Of course, bit warmer. Look at that. It's over 45 degrees. I'm going to take it. It was still a little bit of a wind, nothing crazy though. But we'll go ahead and take that. You can see the tractor going around there, the guys doing their thing and making this track nice and fast for us here this Sunday afternoon. And of course, race number 1 starts the early pick 5, and that starts in this maiden claiming 45 for the maidens 3 years old, going 7 furlongs on the dirt.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a look right away at that shared video of our top selection, Mine Run, and of course Pride of Peyton. Just getting into that far turn, and this was back on January 15th.
Yeah, mine run just a little trouble. We see that in tight nearing the 3/8 pole. A little bit of trouble. It was. How many lengths? Could have been a couple there. You saw that little check off
Definitely.
heels and a little bit tight. But Pride of Peyton, just an improving type. You see this slip through along the inside the challenge. This was a firster, I think, from Tim Shaw, this gray horse bump and run, really bang up race. But all in all, a gutsy try. Pride of Peyton, that was first Lasix, second Lasix today. But you can give a little bit. Mine run, second time, starter now, a little green through the stretch. That experience is going to help out of a mare that was really good. This is the first full Renaissance Rosie won a slew of races, 15-time winner. But I think she'll get a little bit closer today. Pride of Peyton should get forwardly placed, though, from the outside. I think the 6 is going to hold a little value. Getting bet now, Super Accelerate, kind of declined after the first 2 races,
Right.
but was well meant for a barn that doesn't take a lot of money in debut, right? For the debut run, his horse ran well. Horse came out of the race, Shack in the Box win. So Super Accelerate freshened up a little bit, might bring some serious speed to the table here. I'll go 5, 6, 2, 1, the 5 just to kind of move on. I think the extra ground should be fine for Pride of Peyton by Blofeld.
Yeah, certainly keeps things interesting as we move right along to race number 2, and this claiming 10,000 for the 4-year-olds, which is number 1-2, going the 1-turn mile here on the dirt here at Laurel Park. The early pick 5, you don't have an early pick 5 ticket, or early pick 4 ticket,
No.
excuse me, but just a reminder that the early pick 4 does start in race number 2, and we'll get cracking right away on our selected top selection. Love Machine for Ricky Silliman gets Charlie Marquez. Just missed out last time over the mile and eighth, and I think the mile and eighth and the 1-turn mile here at Laurel transfers pretty well. So we'll see a similar type of performance, also adding to the fact that this one won well at the maiden 12-5, but still 7 furlongs is still 7 furlongs.
Yeah, tricky little race. This is a race, if you look at my page. I had a bunch of horses. That's kind of why I opted to go elsewhere, to go to that middle pick 4, because it was just – I could see a number of these horses winning. I think Love Machine, that was a real good step up last time in a big field, was
Right.
able to sustain a run. I like it when horses can do that. Now, worked out a pretty good trip. Was down inside when the inside was pretty good on the 16th. Shifted out, back in. Game to the wire. Only Child's come back to run well. So I think Love Machine should be able to draft over and sustain a run again moving forward for Ricky Silliman. This will be 3rd time off the claim.
You also go with Bet the Over, as I do. Underneath on the rail horse, we have Damon Deal DeVico, who is at 12 for 35 as of lately, 34%, second after the layoff in the winner's circle. Like I said, as of late, so the last 35 starts, we can give an excuse for last time, as this one did hop the start right when the gates open, but I do like that this horse is back at the 1-turn mile here.
It was $1.60 to 1. You should get a lot better price today out of that race. It did make the slightest of moves in between horses at the 3/8 and just kind of said no mas from there. So a little bit of a question mark concerning a horse like this that was claimed, given a lot of time. hasn't come back to really spectacular form. You respect the barn, no doubt about it. Alvelo with a winner yesterday, I think, is going to try to make that run somewhere from mid-pack. I thought this race was really tight. I think despite odds, as a pace factor, could go a long way. Did win going long, right? Broke the maiden going a mile.
Right.
Held pretty well last time. They were a little sluggish that last eighth of a mile, Callie. But who's to really challenge this guy on the front end? Maybe Plunk. Could kind of force the issue with a rider like Boca Chica to force it. But, hey, despite odds, could carry it a long way in here. No
And
doubt.
that's the dangerous thing about Plunk. You just are not quite sure now coming over here to Maryland. Taking a step up for sure. But that's going to be interesting. I couldn't quite trust Plunk quite enough. But again, just going off of that despite odds, I see what you're seeing with that, but the 7 furlongs is my question with that. Race number 3 is a claiming 12.5 for the fillies. 3 years old at the one-turn mile. Again, a bit of a theme going on here today. You go with the number 5, Lovely Liza, for Ned Allard, Karis Ladeno. Really lovely effort off of the layoff. So, and we get a first turn route for Ned Allard. That's even better. And stretching horses out, he can kind of hit it spot on. This is certainly the filly to do it with.
Yeah, get a scratch of this one. I like the one in here. Is going to be out today. Wait for another day. But Lovely Liza, we had her last time out. Didn't run terribly bad for the maiden special weight at Delaware Park. Some horses out of there. Okay. Got it together. That was a sluggish racetrack. So the time you kind of pass on 1:15 and 2 is not going to light the world on fire.
Right.
But the full sibling did have pretty good success. A lot nicer animal, but did well. Turf and dirt going long. So I expect a Lovely Liza to be able to kind of stretch herself out a little bit here today, carry that speed, because I think she's going to be naturally forward against this group.
Agreed.
Yep.
I absolutely agree with that. And then we both go. You go with the number 3, of course, One Las Olas for Claudio Gonzalez, who I have in my top selection. Yomar Ortiz, just kind of taking that try again at the one-turn mile. I'm just giving this one. It just needed a race, coming off of a slight layoff at the one-turn mile here today for the first time. So just again, we're coming back. Claudio Gonzalez, 6 for 25 as of lately, 24% in the winner's circle with that second-time routing.
Yeah, I think we used a stat on One Las Olas last time. Got that down a little bit more. I thought she'd be a little bit more value. Was not, but was definitely hampered against the grain of the racetrack. A wide trip every step of the way. Churning on second. Lasix has a decent number to go back to. She should be a little bit more mature from that, and I think she could jump up. She's the horse to beat in here. Definite stamina edge for the 3, One Las Olas.
7 and 6 to wrap up our selections for race number 3. Race number 4 starts the middle pick for that Keith's got a lineup for us. And, we do have a single. And, okay, we go wide in race number 5.
Yeah, just hope I did my math and everything right. Is that 7 horses in the second leg? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Get you started. These are tough little multi-race wagers here today at Laurel Park. So dive in. Don't be scared. 1-4 get you started. A Girl Named Jack, Start with a Bang. Race 5, Spread-A-Rama. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 11. Hit the all button if you can. It'll be fairly affordable if you do. Watch snooze button, jump up and beat me, or we'll see. That first I left out, but if you can afford it, toss it in. Race 6, Too Deep. Frightland, we've got a stat on that one and a video. The 4 Under the Radar, I think, can move up second time in the Nest Barn. And we wrap it up with a single. More talk. Ferris Allen, he's won with this horse though, so I think there's just enough speed in here. This horse can just settle and make one grinding run. He doesn't have a big, flashy move, Callie, but this field just might come back to him. He's going to need a bit of a contentious pace up top.
He will. That's a bit of a gutsy single for me. So
it is. I had to trim it down somewhere, and there you go. There you have it.
Okay, $14 middle pick 4 for Keith Fustel, and I also go with the rainbow pick 6. Of course, I go 1, 3, 5. A Girl Named Jack I have in my selections as well. I single in on the 2.
Wow.
You go. Yeah.
I go 9 deep. You go single.
Yeah, you go 7 deep and I single. So we don't. If that tells you what's going on today in race number 5, well, clearly we don't quite know. So I go on Major Houlihan just because, and either that's the way you do have to go in this race. You got to go really wide in this race or just go in on a gutsy single. And I'm not sure whether my single is more gutsy or yours. I feel like mine, I may be stretching it for the single in race number 5. But race number 6, of course, I include Frightland and Baton. I include Baton on the outside. I am just kind of a big fan of that that horse. Maybe a little bit of sentimentalism in there as well, but hey, that's fine with me. Race number 7, 357. Great Go-Go, Pepe and Haywood, and Wild Behavior. I don't include No More Talk. I don't include your number 7 because I just need to be convinced. Race number 8, 237, Indian Lake. I could have just pressed the all button right there. And then, of course, race number 9 with the 4 and the 7, Luigi's Spirit, and your analysis for a $21.60 ticket. Yeah.
Completely dismissed the single, I see.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yes, at least you have my single,
right,
because you go 7 wide in race number 5.
There
so
you go.
that tells you how race number 5 is going to happen. Just stick around. We'll dig into that in a minute. But race number 4 is the starter optional, claiming 20. Going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 4 and 5 fillies and mares. Keith, you land on the number 4. Start with a bang. For Rudy Sanchez Solomon gets Angel Cruz. We're dropping it down. We're making things easier. We're just getting a little bit more sensible with where this filly needs to be.
Yeah, she fooled me because that race 3 back where she was a lot more forward into the race, going the mile and an eighth distance. It was really good. And then she stepped up a little too much those next 2 tries. Back to the claiming price. She's been good for the tag.
Yes.
I think I can depend on her run. Let's hope with this spot. I think Cruz will have her settle back probably 6-7 out of it at 7-8. She's going to have to really kind of pick it up from there, though, a grinding type of run to get it done. But I do think behind the couch, No More Mask, even La Familia, that flow's going to be okay. She's good enough here, I think, to get over the top plate. Really good race from a girl named Jack last time. Kind of rode the grain, was hustled up in there. Let's see what kind of ride Barbosa wants to give. He's been aggressive of late. He's usually aggressive. He's been sending, So do you think, though, that she's down inside, will she be able to kind of battle and duel with those horses to their outside? Because I don't think behind the couch and No More Mask will be that far back.
So, and I have an answer to that.
Okay.
If you go back to the 3rd of August at Colonial, she had an inside post, she had outside pressure, and she was able to handle that relatively well. So she losing the whole thing by 1 length, that tells me that she wasn't giving up. She doesn't back down. This isn't a filly to back down. Now you have a filly who has uber confidence with that run last time out, coming out of the 1 post. That makes things easier. You also have Ricky Silliman, who's 38% as of lately, second after the layoff as well. Do you want my theory on Start with a Bang?
Yeah, go ahead. Have at it.
I don't want to rip in too much, but when horses are kind of overclassed and they get too ambitious with, this wonderful go that we had on the 9th of December, then again, get ambitious, get into these fields. Now, this filly has only been winning going to the front end, and your theory is that she's going to come from behind. Well, she's been kind of coming from behind in those last 2 starts, and she kind of got completely demolished. So for me, especially with a filly mentally, you either really need to change up the style, like we saw in that Claiming 16, or it's going to take a couple of tries coming. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, you always want them to run well, so that's my only thing against her, is that sometimes when they get over challenged, then especially, like I said, especially with some of these fillies, it gets to them mentally a little bit, and it may take a couple of races for them to get their confidence back
up. It's getting to me mentally right now. I'm ready to shed a tear up here. You just crushed my heart and soul here. I changed my picks. I'll just wipe my picks out of race 4. I'm done.
You know what?
I got no shot.
Let's bring the hype back up a little bit. Let's talk about Italian dressing for Hammy Smith, because you know what? He's been on a roll lately. So Keith, let's gas up yours, who you have underneath. Of course, this filly again, this is a similar type of situation. She won going up near the lead, struggled a little bit from behind a little bit, but that also was the change in distance. So, but again, coming back to the 7 furlongs, I think is a really nice, sweet deal for Italian dressing.
Yeah, her race 2 back was awesome. I mean, where'd it come from? We don't know. I mean, she was into the race early and often and just kicked away. You see the comment, powered away. Tried to go a mile, sat there a little flat. Okay, so which one are we going to get today? That's the kicker, and that's kind of Hammy in a nutshell with a lot of times trying to handicap his horses. It's a little bit of a guess. When they run, they really run. So and we've seen of late, he's been on a little bit of a roll. So hard to dismiss Italian dressing.
Let's see if Keith Fusel start with a bang can come off with a bang there in the fourth race. Listen, I love being proved wrong, so that's completely fine. I just cautiously left her off my ticket for the reason. That's the only reason. But if we see that filly that we saw at that claiming 16,000, absolutely top selection there. And
don't give me the ifs and buts. Let's go to the fifth.
Let's go to the fifth. In this maiden claiming 30, going 3/4 of a mile for the fillies, 3 years old. You and I are similar in the 2 and the 3. Let's go ahead and dig into number 3, 6 the hard way for Rod Bales. Gets the blinkers on.
Yeah.
Dennis Araujo. Dennis Araujo is really going to ride. He's such a clever rider, so he's going to handle this a lot better. He did the right thing by sending a first-time starter to the lead and getting some confidence.
Yeah, she was a little fractious in the post parade as well, so a little tricky there. Hopefully, with the experience, she'll settle down a bit. But it was, the blinkers on. That doesn't get me one way or the other. But the internals were really strong that she was set up into, battling in between horses. They were equivalent to open nickel boys. We said, well, this race is for 30. No, open nickel boys horses have won a lot of races right there. So that's good enough for me. A big field. Escape the trouble early, and I think she can kind of go a long way in here.
I agree. I have her just underneath. I included you and I are just switched around. Let's talk about Major Houlihan, Michael Trombetta. Really nice improvement last time out, stepping it up at Aqueduct. Well, a similar type of class from the maiden special weight to the maiden 40 at Aqueduct. Likes the slop, doesn't get the slop today, but I think I'm just kind of hoping for a better performance, regardless what type of track it's on.
Yeah, I watched that race this morning. Blinkers went on, Lasix went on, was in a little bit tight. As soon as she got a little slightly squeezed at the brake, Jock took straight back, settled her in the clear. She did make one good steady progression from there. I think it's a step sideways from a class where it looks like she's moving down. That field was not a lot, but I think she gained from that, and she brought a little bit of a finish, which could help her in here. The key is just to be able to kind of avoid any traffic in a big field like this. So, I thought this race was wide open. I think the 11 will kind of revert back. First time Lasix to that debut run. That was good enough. The 1 coming in from Oakland Park, those races had to be better. I think 2 or 3 horses have come out of that race to run quite well. Big 12-horse field, so has handled that, and I think we'll bring a bit of a finish. There's lots of ways to go here in race 5. I don't think there's any real stick out. Demand at least 7-2, 4-1 on anybody that you bet flat in here. You look at the 5 final jump. Here's the Ridgely boys at it again. My man Randy Ridgely, Gary Ridgely, the whole Ridgely family. These guys, they do some sneaky good breeding, right, with their horses. So horse a half the Badger Tooth, who was by Imagining, won a little bit longer, but Jump Start I might like a little bit better. This mare was good. Won her first 2, was 3 for 9. Lasix going on. Dove Houghton hasn't run a whole lot the last couple years. Percentage was really good last year. So here's a horse. Might take a little bit to get going, but this field could come back to her, no doubt.
Breeding could help out with this one for final jump, the number 5. And
Butterfly was named on the horse that looked better to me on paper originally on the first cut for Pickett. That Oakland horse we shook. So maybe a little bit of a tell there, but that is a spread race number 5.
There we go. And we'll be right back to talk about the rest of the card here, starting in race number 6.
Introducing the first racing tool from Pegasus to Preakness. Iconic venues.
Life is good about Ortiz Jr. They ran him off their feet into Pegasus.
World-class racing. Millions at stake.
Rod Bauer win the Preakness.
New champions will be crowned. Only at first.
Here we are. Let's see what we can come up with for digging into each other for the rest of this Sunday card. Keith, race number 6 is this restricted allowance going a 1-turn mile on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Scratch the 1 Trash Talkin' Larry, and let's just go ahead, take a look at the new inherited rail horse Frightland. Brittany Russell, of course, Jeremy Rose. This was back in January 6th.
Yeah.
This last time out.
And obviously a key race. Right, Cal? Look who's 3 wide, 3 deep. We showed this video yesterday, Shaft's Bullet. And the reason Frightland's going to go on top is because Shaft's Bullet went back and just virtually almost dead heated yesterday against a solid 2 other than field, right? So you see Frightland there, the 11, though. waited. Had to wait for a good 16th of a mile, still kind of sitting chilly there, waiting for that seam to open. Finally kind of gets it here late, has to alter down inside. Shafts Bullet, who had the clear run, all of the momentum, is going to win this. But, man, gutsy try by Frightland. Coming right back, we've got a stat. We're going to show you that in 1 second regarding the route runners here for Brittany Russell. Look at this effort. Just denied.
Gutsy, yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah, that was a good run. Now, this horse was late to the races, too. Didn't get it started until 4, so they've been very patient. Brittany Russell, last 2 years, 8 for 23, 35%, 15 for 23 in the money. Second time on the dirt going long. I'll consider this a route, right? It's a 1-turn mile, maybe extended, but still. 351 ROI. Frightland, bred to run all day, has a half brother that I think won at a 1.5 miles out in California. And ran big turf or dirt. So the patience looks like it's paying off. Another big field to deal with. So having to work out the trip might not be the easiest things to do, but flattered by Shafts Bullet yesterday.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Shafts Bullet yesterday, wonderful performance. So, again, we just saw a key race there for Frightland, but I'm excited to see what Shafts Bullet is going to be giving us in the future. Let's talk about under the radar. A little bit of a value underneath Keith at 10-1 for Jamie Neskett's Angel Cruz. Again, a nice effort last time out, going the 2 turns here in that state bred allowance. Now wears a 2. But against this group.
Yeah.
Still a good value, I think, at 10-1.
Yeah, I think we'll still escape at an okay value. It was 15-1 last time. This horse caught my eye with a pretty good move, leaving the far turn of the quarter. Slightest of flattening out late. And I had some flow in front of it. I wish Most Perfect would have run better yesterday. That was the Shafts Bullet race. Did not. But it's second time Ness, and he's staying with this horse in the allowance. He's 29% with this move, second off the claim with the allowance runners on the dirt. So I think this horse should be able to escape that overland trip like he had last time, to be able to tuck in and move up under some cover around the turn.
And was asked a bit early as well.
He was.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love this pick underneath that 10-1. Let's talk about the number 12 on the outside. And that's Baton for Mike Pino. Toledo getting back to the dirt. Still the same horse that we saw a little in that first flashy timeout in that maiden breaking score over at Pimlico. Was it denied at Laurel last time out? But again, this is just a super sharp guy who's in really good form, and I'm not going to deny him.
Yeah, he and just to his inside, Find Faith, a maiden breaker who looked really good. Flo is going to be there. This one's going to be out. Rusty's G550, I thought, ran one of his better races. He usually likes the lead. He sat in some traffic down inside, had to alter out. He held well. Those 3 from the outside, I think, all will kind of go. Let's see how this first, eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile develops. I think we're going to have some contested pace around the turn, though. I think these guys are going to have to hook up, setting it up for maybe Frightline or under the radar. But these horses, Baton, he'll fight you tooth and nail. So will Rusty's G550. And Find Faith, we really don't know how good this horse is. He got away with a slower pace at 7/8 of a mile, but had plenty left in the tank. Looked good. So really competitive race in race 6. You got good horses coming off a time. The Addison Poor, we didn't even mention that runner for Brittany Russell, and even Royal Numbers, a horse that run big races. Brilliant Ice is in great form for Annette Eubanks.
This is such a salty restricted or state bred allowance. We could sit here and I feel like we could sit here and talk about the field for the next at least 5 to 10 minutes, but we've got to go ahead and keep going with things. Race number 7 is a claiming 8,000 for the 4-year-olds and upwards, going 6 furlongs here on the dirt. Keith, let's just go ahead and take a look at No More Talk back on January 6th, just getting into that far turn into the upper stretch.
A reclaim for Ferris Allen. This guy's 9 years old now. He's had a pretty good career, made a lot of money. Honor the Fleet is going to win this race. Actually, I broke a little slow, went up to it. But right here, you're going to see, in the black and gold silks, just a little bit of a steady, caught in between horses, wasn't really able to fire on. And that was the key. The real running was getting ready to start. And the other ones were kind of locked and loaded up front, especially Honor the Fleet. They didn't go that fast early. Honor the Fleet had that little breather around the turn and responded. Is going to go ahead and win clear Oxide with a good run. I like the way No More Talk churned on. He is a grinding type, but I do think he's going to like what develops up front in here with horses like Great Go-Go, Free Square, Pepe and Haywood, even Wild Behavior. It's maybe somebody shakes free around the turn. If anybody does, I think it might be Pepe and Haywood off the claim. but I'll take a shot. He can kind of wear him down late.
Okay, Keith Single, no more talk, back in the Ferris Allen barn at 5-2 in this nice competitive field and gets the setup. Free Square? I'm having trouble trusting Free Square.
Okay.
No matter what barn he's in. That's my only thing against him.
Yeah, second time back with Lacey was
Yep.
really keyed up last time. Opened up, had nothing in the tank. But the two-back try, not be able for Rob, was good. I mean,
Right.
chase, and kept on going 6 furlongs. I think he's going to try that trip. Bryson Butterfly has shown to be capable. He's riding well now. He'll be able to drop it and save some ground and just try to make that steady move into it. He's not as fast, I don't think, as Pepe is in Haywood or Great Go-Go. I don't think he wants to get into a duel with those two.
Race number 8 is an allowance optional claiming 55, going the 1-turn mile on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Scratch in the 3 Galerio, scratch in the 4 Iowan, and scratch in the 6 Esculpatory. This is a 4-horse field.
Oh, when did Galerio come out?
Very, very late.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got the update?
Yep, I got it
good?
now.
Did
Wow.
Did it throw you off?
No, I'm back. I'm good.
Okay, all right. Well, then let's go ahead and take a look. Let's not take a look. Let's talk about the 5. Let's talk about your value play of the day. Ruby Blue for Miguel Rodriguez gets Angel Rodriguez. This one is, you're going to be projected speed in this race.
Yeah, that's it. I ran okay, wide with Biden. Finally going to catch a fast track. Of course, at 5 straight tries with moisture in the surface, but going all the way back to that last fast track try. Good enough, albeit that was 2 turns. So I think the first quarter of a mile is going to be an indicator. Ruby Blue needs a little bit, I think, of a breather early. Can handle pressure, shown on the line. We'll battle you once hooked, but can't go too quick and take too much pressure early. Just value in a short field because Plot the Dots is going to be probably, 3 to 5, 4 to 5 off that last race?
Probably. Probably.
Maybe lower?
So we'll see. Of course, Plot the Dots winning the Jennings last time out, only on the 21st of January. Quick turnaround back here in the races for Plot the Dots. But again, Plot the Dots, discussing it with Norman Cash. This horse loves being back in Maryland. Thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, there we go. And boy, this particular day, he had a beautiful trip. So did Galerio. It was kind of a high and wide day, a lot of these races, and he got that duel up front. They're battling pretty good, and it's a loop and a swoop about 5-6 wide here for Plot the Dots. Is going to battle Hooks Our Nation on Parade, who's held pretty good form for Ness. Puts him away and kicks away under a drive. So this looked like the old Plot the Dots. Link Cash's horses have been running pretty well. And they've been winning back-to-back at a lot of places other than Maryland, though. So that's the key. Here in Maryland, he's only been, I had a little stat, 2 for 27 with last out winners over the last year or so. That's the only thing that's that little stat there. But, man, if he's anywhere close to what he was that day, granted he rode the best part track, he just grind these horses down.
Well, and I think he also recognizes that this horse does like being back in Maryland, specifically at this distance as well. So since we are back to this 1-turn mile, why not? Let's go ahead. Let's get to the nightcap.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get to the nightcap. Keith Fusel goes 5-7-2-1 there in our feature. Race number 9 is the maiden claiming 45. With a scratch of the 6, score to settle in this 1-turn mile event for the 4 and 5-year-olds. And let's go ahead and take a look at your analysis, just leaving this mid-turn to the wire back on January 8th.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one. Just really 3 good races in a row, and I think catches the right field. Fine Faith, here's the video if you want to look about what Fine Faith looks like in that other than you're going to get to see there because, man, he ran really big. But your analysis ran it well as too. 23-4-48, the flow really wasn't there. He kind of works through this seam here, turning for home. Finishes up, I thought, with pretty good energy, chasing the winner who was just loaded, turning for home. So a good effort there on his correct lead here in mid-stretch. Comes back to a field at a mile, going back out. I shouldn't be any real concern here from a breeding standpoint. I think this is the right kind of field to just kind of track and go on with it from there.
Yep, pretty straightforward in the Brittany Russell runner. Let's also talk about who you have underneath the Crossland for Mary Epler. This one coming a really nice effort in that first time back off of a slight layoff here in late January. The last time we saw this horse prior to that January effort was back in early November off of that was an off the turf event, turf campaign, just constantly knocking at the door with this one, but looks to be in nice upswing form.
Yeah, I like the way this horse, they all keep up against Celtic Cousin. aggressive ride today is probably going to work. You look at the field, the flow, it's not a lot. Dominguez has shown a little bit of speed, but I think Crossland might be faster if he just wants to go, and I think he'll do that. He held quite well. Had that uncomfortable trip in between horses, shifted in upper, and he did churn on. Crossland showing some versatility here for Mary Epler. Sanchez Salomon's horse, Luigi Spirit, has got to come out of the gate. I thought a good recovery after that brutal beginning last time out.
We'll find out how that all goes down there in the nightcap to wrap up this whole weekend of racing here for the first February in 2023. And let's go ahead, get to lightning round, and we'll dig into your best bet and value play. To start things off, Keith, why don't you go ahead and talk about your best bet of the day?
Best bet, we showed the video. The 2 Frightland. I've got this horse line too high at 4, no doubt. I mean, it was one of those races trying to make everything add up. I hope I can get 5-2. We'll see. Jeremy Rose, we're going to trust in you, brother. Work out a trip from off of it, and I think this horse can grind it home. Value play. We're going to go to the 8th race, number 5. Ruby Blue. Again, short field now. Now we're down to 4. Go to the front. We'll just see how far he can go.
And with the scratches, might they make things better for Ruby Blue, your value play of the day. I'm really excited to see how that turns up. And also, let's take a look at what's going on so far for 2023 in this winter meet jockey standings. Of course, Barbosa just leading the way, not looking back, still has the bug. Rodriguez not far behind him, and Toledo ready to sneak up and get some scores here.
Yeah, a very capable group. We might see things change a little bit down the road, but Barbosa, he's got the target right now.
And with the jocks we've got going on, Brittany Russell, of course, in the standalone lead. Jamie Ness, Farrier not far behind her. Farrier, I've got to double check if Farrier's still at the leading the nation for the number of wins as a trainer, but here in Maryland, just behind Russell.
Just terrorizes him at Charlestown, doesn't he?
Yes.
Man.
Terrorizing. That's a good point of view.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance up there. It looks like every night I see it, just win. But he's doing a good job getting a lot of horses doing the right thing and winning races here as well. So they come in bunches, and certainly right now it's good to see somebody local.
Absolutely. We're very proud of him.
Absolutely.
Yep. And having a nice string here at Laurel Park really certainly adds to it. And we're also happy to have somebody back in the afternoons. If we could take a look at that video. Tim Salzman was out for a little bit. John was taking over some of his stock. But we've got Camille Rochelle, the number 5, on the lead, just giving Tim Salzman a really nice return back to the races effort, coming back as a trainer and saddling. So just a good – I've had some great interactions with him. Tim's been great, and it's good to see him on the backside and getting to his whole family around to celebrate a little bit of that success coming back.
That family's been a major impact on this area for a long time. Yes, absolutely. You want to see everybody doing well, no doubt.
And we'll head on over to Dave Rodman to wrap up our changes and scratches for this weekend of racing here in Maryland.
All right, good luck.